Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. Today's topic, I am going to be talking about the sexism in the black community. So I'm gonna cut through the chase and get to the point. It's so funny to me that we don't talk enough about the sexism that's happening in our neighborhoods or that's happening within our homes. Now, when I speak on sexism, I'm not just talking about the discrimination that women face by men, but also the discrimination that men face by women. So I'm dealing with both sides. Okay, I'm not just gonna be dealing with one side. I'm looking at it from both angles, and it goes so far to the point there is competition. There is the male versus female thing. All right. Then there is the manosphere and the womansphere going on. Now, how can a community progress and move forward when there is constant discrimination amongst men and women? And not just in our neighborhoods, in the household, but also in the social movement and community activism, you will see the discrimination happening. Particularly in this case, when we deal with social movement or a conscious community, you will see that it's the men in the conscious community discriminating against women and in the social movement as well. And I often hear protect black women, protect black children, right? But that doesn't, it's not showing. It's not really progressing. It's all talking points. Because whenever there's a case where a woman is being violated, how many men in the community stepping up to protect that woman? There's been stories out where women have lost their lives or been injured by men because they reject them as far as their advances concerned. Now, I'm gonna say this to the men. When y'all teaching these boys about women, y'all can't be going around here teaching them to apply pressure. You gotta apply the pressure on the woman. Don't be teaching them that shit, because what you're doing is you're teaching them how to fall into a trap. You're teaching them how to end up in jail. One of the things is these boys out here need to learn that when a woman tells them no, or if a female is not interested, they need to learn how to accept being rejected. You got to learn how to accept being rejected. Everybody is not interested in having relationships. Okay? They must learn that. They must learn how to respect the opposite of sex, but also have more respect for themselves. And same goal for the girls. The girls must learn respect for themselves. The girls must learn that if a guy is not interested in them, they gotta move on. And also the girls must learn that they can't go around here fighting with men and thinking that a man's gonna tolerate them being disrespectful. You gotta teach them that they don't have the same amount of strength as a man to be trying to fight or be trying to impose any form of violence. See, we came from a dysfunctional household. Most of us ain't been taught that. And majority of us been raised by our mothers and grandmothers. You know what I'm saying? So they'll go so hard on the males, but don't go hard on the females about certain behavior. So, our mamas and grandmamas didn't teach us the things that we need to know about what to encounter when it comes to men. We didn't learn self-defense from neither one. And in most cases, there was the women who have dealt with abuse themselves. And they didn't know how to articulate that. And our fathers did not teach us girls that when it comes to men, do not allow them to push over us. Because most of our fathers weren't in the household. And they were the type of fathers that didn't want to have anything to do with our mothers. Let's be real about that. It ain't always the government, the welfare. It's because these fathers didn't want to have anything to do with the mothers. They didn't want to have anything to do with the responsibilities. And I can understand some of the reason why they don't want to have anything to do with the woman, right? But when it comes to kids, you got to take care of your priorities. But it's one thing if you don't want to be in a relationship with the woman, but it's another thing when you reject your own children. So you got a case where men just walk out and leave the woman there to raise the kids on their own. Or then you got the case where the woman used the children as a weapon against the man. Again, I'm not letting women off the hook either. It's so many things I can go into. Let's talk about, you got a situation where you got women who set men up to get shot, to lose their lives, robbing them. Then you got men who out here mistreating women, treating their wives like they second-class citizens, beating on their wives. Got all kind of side chicks. Now, let me show you. This is the mentality that certain men have about women. If you got a wife at home and you got a bunch of side chicks, you basically saying that these women ain't nothing more than just a bunch of pussy. That is your mentality. And I seen the video where it's one of those little viral things where people say, of course this, of course that. So these women walking around talking about, so I'm the side chick. Of course I'm the best friend of his wife. I'm a side chick. Of course I done had a boy. I mean, you hear crazy things like that. This is why I'm against the concept of being a side chick or being a side anything. Because it comes with major consequences. These women, I'm going to be real, they degrade themselves. It's a form of degradation. It's a form of degradation when you decide that you want to be the side chick. Why do you want to put yourself at that level? Why do you want to be taken advantage of? So he can mistreat you and use you like a disposable or recycling material, or he can come to you whenever he wants to, like you some type of revolving door or something. What is the pride of being a side chick? That comes with misery and pain. You know what I'm saying? So now we're in a culture where that is being perpetuated. it's more acceptable to be a side chick than to be a wife. Because if you're a wife, you get treated with all kind of disrespect. You're no longer valued. I mean, if the community really want to move forward, you have to address a lot of problems that's happening within the Black community. This is one of the reasons why we're not moving forward, because we don't want to talk about sexism. We don't want to talk about the disrespect that's happening amongst Black people, amongst Black men and women. The Black relationship is crumbling. So the foundation of a Black community, the foundation of the Black community is the man and woman. And if the man and woman is not progressing, then that foundation falls apart. And when you have children in the midst of it, that will make things even worse, because the kid is born into the chaos. And decent. How you doing? Peace. How you doing? Let me see what you got to say over here. Yes, we have taken the idea of making a bad thing good in our community way too far within the N word and all sorts of behaviors. Yes, we have. And then I'm gonna keep it real. We go along with the patriarchal white supremacy mindset. Oh, hey Centavo. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, what's up, Centavo? I was confused by your name for a minute, but okay, cool. But we take off on this patriarchal white supremacy idea of what relationship look like. We have allowed ourselves to not value each other, or we don't see enough values. And let me put y'all on some games, men out there who want to know, well, why do women walk around and say they independent? Why women want to act masculine, this, they, other? Let me tell you something. It ain't about women. It's not about women acting masculine, okay? When it comes to survival mode, you got to understand a lot of women are in survival mode. And a lot of women have been through too much in their lives. They have seen a lot. So you cannot expect for a woman to easily trust or open up to you when they have been let down so many times, and when they have suffered from so many abuse. You cannot expect for a woman to just open up. You cannot expect for a woman to just put her guard down. And I see so many of y'all say, well, these women need to put their guards down. You can't say that. You don't know what she been through. You don't know the story. Because if she put her guard down, then here come the red flags. Okay. Now, yes, there are women out there who try to be masculine or whatnot, knowing damn good well they ain't masculine. But then there are women out there who are surviving. Let me tell you something about protection, self-defense. It's a human right. It's not just a man's right. It's not just a woman's right. It's a human right. And I've seen a video clip with Jody Breeze. Jody Breeze is a rapper from Atlanta. He supposedly have a book out called Women, and he has the acronym. So he was trying to explain the acronym, right? Instead of him just telling what the acronym is, he's basically trying to get the host to guess what the acronym of his book is about, whatever. And one of the acronyms, he said why. As for W, why? Why do women ask too many questions? Well, there's a good reason why you gonna have women asking too many damn questions. Because she placing her trust in you. And if she follows her intuition and she's starting to see too many red flags, she has the right to ask questions. Because it's regard to her safety. It's regard to the trust issue. And she has to know if she's going to continue to progress in the relationship with you. But there are men who get upset because women ask questions. They supposed to. Why not? You should be asking questions as a woman. Especially if your life is dependent on this man and y'all in a committed relationship and something go wrong, you need to find out. But we got where, especially when it comes to the knowledge game, there's some form of jealousy. There's some form of jealousy taking place. I don't know why, but it seems like more and more men become jealous of women who are learning or doing the knowledge. Knowledge is not subjugated to one gender. Knowledge is for everyone. And also, there's women who come down on other women for being married and wanting to have relationships. First of all, as another woman, you cannot even attack another woman for being married and starting a family. You can't do that. A lot of women did not come from a household where they seen both of their parents together. So you don't have no right to sit here and tell a woman that she's wrong for being married and starting a family or making fun of her and using terms like pick me's. You ain't proving no point. You just proving that you ignorant as hell. Or then I'll go so far to say that you got women who think that if you don't back up their claims, their arguments about men's behavior, right, or how they feel about men, then you a pick me. You a mammy. So now they want to call you male centered because you don't agree with everything they say. See, where I stand on my position, I deal with humanity. I deal with humans. Okay. I'm not just going to deal with just males or just females. But I will say this, although I stand on the concept of black pride, black unity, black relationships, and all of that, I'm not going to sit here and ignore the problems that's happening in our communities. I'm not going to sit here and just try to dance around the issues because I'll be lying to myself. I'm not going to sit here and say there's the problem with men and there's the problem with women, because there's a problem with both parties. There's a problem as a whole. And if we don't look at the core of the issues that's happening, especially if it's happening in our household, and we got this code, if you will, what goes on in the house stays in the house. I'm glad Umar Johnson said something, and I totally agree with him. He said, What happens at home, right, to a child or to a woman can also affect the community because they bring what's in the household to their society, to their neighborhoods, amongst their peers. So you got to know what is going on in the house. You do. You must know what goes on because if you don't know what goes on, then it's going to continue to affect. It's going to become, it's like a disease that spreads. You got to find out what is the origin of that disease, what caused that disease. So it can be stopped or it can be dealt with, you know what I'm saying? So that way you can come up with some type of medicine to keep that disease from spreading throughout, right? So that's the same way. If there's a problem going on in the household or in the relationship, it can have an effect on the community as a whole. So by us saying what goes on in the house stays in the house is not always a good thing. Those conversations need to be had, right? But it needs to be had in a healthy way where both parties can understand and be able to have more respect for each other. So those conversations has to be discussed, but it has to be discussed in a healthy manner. Not in a way where we get on social media and start bashing the other individual or putting all the business out there just so we can get likes and all of this crazy stuff. And those stories should be an inspiration, should be a wake-up call to say, all right, well, we gotta do better. We must do better as a community. We must do better as a people. And one of the key things is working on self. Working on yourself, working on your behavior, working on your mentality. You got to work on self. Because if you don't work on yourself and you don't fix what's going on with you, then you're going to continue to see the problem. You're going to continue to see the problem that's taking place because you're not working on self. And you also got to change your environment if you have to. You may have to change the people that you be around. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to change the person that you're in a relationship with, mean that you're going to have to let them go. They're going to have to move on and find somewhere else to be. You can't keep that toxic individual around you. If they're not help you to progress and grow as a person, you don't need them. So one of the things that we must learn is have respect and love for self first. When you have respect and love for self, then you will start being able to respect others and have love for other people. Then you won't have these conversations where why so many people don't want to get married, why so many people getting a divorce, because the problem is it's not enough internal work. It's not enough communication. And it's not enough respect for the other party. Change must start with self. Self-improvement is necessary. Education is the foundation. And I'm not just talking about reading political books and all that, but I'm talking about being able to have personal growth. Being able to learn about the opposite sex. And have a better understanding, have an open mind, and not just having that mindset where you can just go and take advantage of someone and use them at your own advantage. But having the mindset where you can be able to have some form of productivity and be able to grow with that individual. And being able to have a better relationship with your environment and your community, and not be so detached from your community. You know, but again, I'm gonna say it, the patriarchal white supremacy have done a serious damage to us collectively. It has done serious damage to us collectively, because you got a situation where our men want to be like these white men, and then you got a case where the woman becomes a victim of that because the black man wants to have the power and privilege like a white dude. And then vice versa, you got a situation where women start to despise men and feel like men are not necessary, or you don't need men around. So we women have this idea where they can operate in a society alone without men. You can't coexist like that. You have to coexist with you have to coexist with each other. You need each other to be able to bring a foundation. You got to understand the importance of having the foundation. You got to understand the importance of having some form of coexistence. This is why I speak against people like Princella. I speak against people like Princella because she only making matter worse by telling women they don't need men. That's not the way the world works. We don't live in a world like that. You need each other. You got to be able to bring the balance, but she's not teaching women that. She's not. And we got to get away from people like her. We got to not let people like her be in our midst and causing so much confusion. But anyways, that's all I wanted to speak on. We have to change that direction. We have to change how things are dealt with in our community. When it comes to this, we shouldn't have a bunch of sexism going on. We should not be in a place where women feel uncomfortable or feel unsafe in their community around men because of the things that's happening. And more men should be able to step up, and more women should be able to respect the men who are stepping up and doing the work in the neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? More women should be acknowledged for their contribution in the community, not just be acknowledged for the music, the style of dress, or how they dance or anything like that. They should be acknowledged for the things they're doing as far as the activism, education, foundation. Not enough being talked about black women doing those type of work, because those black women get overshadowed. So again, that's where I stand at, and that's all I wanted to speak on. I appreciate you guys coming in. Shout out to Norman. Thank you for coming through, Norman. Shout out to Satavo. Thank you for coming through, Satavo. All right. And make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Share the channel. And until next time, may peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off. Deuces.